All right.
We're live. Welcome to the latest edition of Weekly AMAs here at B13 Media. Today I have Erin Browne, who is always here with us, and
Yep.
I do not have Chris, who will be with us eventually. How soon? Only time will tell. Erin, over to you. Obviously, you've come up with an entire bracket of programming for us today, so please go through that right now. Please begin, Erin.
Ah,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. That's not nice. That's not very nice. I'm not. I'm not just going to do that. No, Aaron has not just come up with a bunch of content. You know. No, we're going to talk about
you're
stuff
the one
for.
with the full tickle trunk of
Did
various.
you just call it a tickle trunk? Did you just call it a tickle trunk? I don't like that whatsoever. Ugh. Tickle trunk. Oh man. Oh, there's Chris. He's trying to get in here.
Ah, just gonna
Oh
moderate.
man. That's gonna give me nightmares. Oh my lord. Here he is. I wish I had like a whole soundboard that I could do like a bunch of different stuff with. Bam, 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 bam. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. That'd be fun. That would be fun. You can't say that wouldn't be fun. You're muted.
Of course. No, I'm not muted. I'm unmuted.
You're unmuted.
Of course, that would be
So
fun.
I gotta make you aware of something horrifying that just happened. Aaron referred to my Neurobits database as a tickle trunk, and I have to say, I
Tickle
hate
trunk?
it. A tickle trunk. I've never in my
Isn't
life.
that that's oh my god, what's that Canadian TV show? It's I don't even know if it's Canadian.
Big comfy
Tickle
couch.
No, isn't Tickle Trunk from Mr.
Mr. Dress Up.
Mr. Dress Up?
Okay, well, I do not want to Google that right now while we're live, so I'm not going to. Perhaps one of our viewers could maybe let us know, uh, or not. Whatever. I don't care.
I love how
It's
that
women.
reference was both regional and generational. That's great.
Yeah, that's always good. I'm just gonna make a little bloop. I'm gonna add it to my story, and I'm gonna put that on the air. Yeah, I'm just putting that on there. Um, we're live. We're live again. Ask us anything. I'm gonna put the link as well. This is really fun for anyone who's actually watching. Good lord. They're like, wow, this is really great. Thanks, guys. Time to ask some questions, creators. I like that.
I had a really good session with Aaron this morning, and well, I took the liberty of first of all updating the atrocious thumbnail of this AMA. I don't know if you've noticed it, Lance, but it's much more clickadelic. That's the word that the kids are using.
Nice.
So check out our
Sure.
clickadelic thumb.
Let me look it up.
My God, what's taking so long? You're
What
like
of
a
the?
90-year-old with a computer device.
Oh, that's super cool, dude. That's
Yeah.
super cool. That's really
And guess
great.
what it has room for? Something that Aaron and I had discussed, and that is going to be the flavor of the month going forward, starting next Wednesday.
What?
That little spot on the right where it says live, that's going to be our guests. That's going to be the artists and creatives and creators and writers that join us every week to have a discussion, and very much a AMA where we do provide as much feedback as possible for free to anyone that's watching, but also just have a podcast format conversation and or interview with artists from our community and the community out there. I've
That's
already
sick.
started to DM some of the ones that were on my pod, and I gave Erin the idea of maybe inviting some of the publicists she's speaking with, and you should do the same.
I love it. I will definitely ask people if they're down to check out some things and talk about some stuff.
Yep.
Well,
In
think about it
the
from this
pitch.
perspective. At the end of the day, like if someone joins or not, then the four of us get to have a really cool conversation about that artist, their journey, where they are, tying that into the village and all of the different things that we do, services we provide. They're going to bring in their communities because they'll be able to say, hey, check out this AMA that I'm doing today, or check out the AMA that I did post live coverage. And then that's just going to start to resonate with the audience and bring people in more and more.
Nice. So, I was hoping that we could questions that people have, which we'll see. But biggest thing for me personally is making sure that we have stuff to talk about anyway. Um, and I think that one of the big things that we could talk about right now is either stuff that has been going on in the industry recently, or stuff that we've been noticing in our own little village recently. So, like, one of the big things I've been noticing as of late is when we try to clean up handles, try to clean up an identity, an outside in. It's like one of those boring things that nobody talks about, but actually super crazy important.
Yep.
I will say that there are a couple people in the industry that are so good at what they bloody well do that they somehow still manage to do it, still somehow manage to talk about it. It's very frustrating. I want to be first in always. But yeah, up to you guys. What do you want to do in the interim while we wait for a question to show up?
Yeah, I mean, I think talking about handles is a great idea, and it ties into one of the things that we're preaching from day one, right? Like, foundational work is so important. I actually shared a message with you guys from our client Garrett Barbudo last night that I think I'm just going to read now. So where is our chat? So Garrett Barbudo is this Calgary-based musician who is doing the whole singer-songwriter thing on his own for the first time, and has put a lot of time and effort into the music. He is, sorry, I got kiddos at home. He's hardworking, hopeful, but also super self-aware. And the message that he shared is so indicative of that. This is what I think a lot more artists need to realize. Everyone, how many people have come in and said, this is the best, this song is going to be played at weddings and it's going to be huge. I'm going to get an award and this and that, and it doesn't pan out that way. Not saying you shouldn't have that ambition, but balance the ambition and the hopes and dreams with reality as much as possible. So Garrett says, after, I don't know, how long we've been working with him now? Half a year? 9 months?
Yeah, basically.
Sounds about right.
About half a year. I think we got the album release to go. I'm just going to close my doors because I have a garbage truck driving through my area, unless you guys can't hear it.
I can't at all. I don't know what
so
you're
then
doing.
we'll just keep going.
No, you're good.
I've been feeling really good about my content, socials, and the momentum with the whole campaign. Big picture, I know I've got way more to give in the songwriting department, so I'm not expecting much in terms of popularity streams for this first album. Plus, with all the marketing lessons I've learned from V13, I feel like I'm tying a good bow in this whole first album project with a clear idea of how I want to go forward, particularly because V13 has kind of laid out my launch pad with music in my life. And that's one of the things that, we've talked about so many times with artists, guys, is laying the foundation, laying the bed on which all this beautiful stuff can be built. Most artists come in and they're already thinking about the rocket ship landing on the moon, and it's like, dude, you haven't even built the rocket ship yet. That's cool that you want to be on the moon, and let's endeavor and aspire to be there, but let's also build everything in a systematic, organized way so that you have the greatest chance of the moon shots, right? You can't have the fitness level that you want without putting in the reps. I want to look like Arnold. Cool. Envision that. Don't lose sight of that. Now work towards it.
Absolutely.
So
100%
handles,
agree.
social media, super important part of all that stuff that we're doing. But I just thought that maybe we would start with a more foundational part of the conversation, which is building foundation.
Yeah, and I think that it's funny. You started with a bit of feedback that we received. I'd like to do the same actually, because I have feedback that I got from some people that I work with that I had worked with. I had this email back from them. What I did is I did a social media audit, and I already told you guys about this, but I think that I showed you the email back. But basically, they run a podcast. It's called Totally Over the Spectrum, and it's Tessa and Kim. And so after I had run through it with them, they said, "Thank you so much. Words truly cannot express how grateful we are for your time, expertise, and above all, your wonderful sense of humor. Granted, the validation you provided was incredibly meaningful to us and has given us renewed confidence as we continue to scaffold our business to the next level. Your insights were both encouraging and energizing. We absolutely loved the ideas around the carousel and pod link, and I'm certain Kim was firing on all cylinders with the inspiration and suggestions you brought forward. The public speaking framework you shared also brought much needed clarity to an area where we'd previously been unsure how to proceed. We're excited to begin implementing your recommendations and very much look forward to collaborating with you again in the near future. Our heartfelt thanks for the time and care you invested in us, especially knowing how busy you are with both your boys. It truly means a great deal. Wishing you a wonderful day. Tessa and Kim." Love it. Thank you. Appreciate that. But a lot of it is what we do with everybody, which is, hey, this is what I'm going to take you outside of your perspective, which is you on the inside looking out, and I'm going to take you and have you look on the outside looking in. And this is what it looks like when you have a social media handle here, different from a social media handle here, different from a URL here, and it just doesn't make any sense. And it's so funny because we can run afoul of that ourselves. Like, I had like low-key hellish, and it's like, that's a fun idea, but the problem is that your social media handle is that, but your podcast is a different name, and now there's that it doesn't fit with the overarching objective of Verse and Vision, which is our literary journal. It was supposed to be, hey, this is a way to showcase all of the writing from all of our people. So all that is to say is like, this is not easy. We ourselves run afoul of this often, and the expression is fail hard, fail fast, and we want to make sure that we do that. And I think that that's what this is that we do that and make sure that just take a new, fresh set of eyes. Sometimes just having people that are not you, but like actually looking to be serious and give it a proper look-see is, dude, worth its weight in gold, honestly. Okay, so I feel like I don't want to do. I mean, what we could do is I don't know, talk about some of our own stuff that we would do in like an actual social media audit, or maybe we do it in like what Erin does when. So it's not like an audit; it's the oh my gosh, social media snapshot.
Yes, yeah, like the high level overview of, yeah, we could certainly get into that.
Maybe we could use Chris's socials as a case study.
Mine?
Yeah, because yours are
sure.
solid, and then that way,
Yeah.
Erin, you can run through what a social snapshot you do, and this is just like the first steps. Like you could do that. Anyone who's watching, you can do this in like literally 10, 15 minutes. I mean, obviously, Erin's part of this is a little more involved, but like, because there's like clients to service. But like, let's go with Chris. I'm actually very happy to go and look through Erin.
Well, we could talk about multiple things here. I think there's like not just the brand and what the brand means to you and the brand colors and the brand identity, but then also like the actual handles, the .coms, the URLs, like how to point to what and where to buy the URLs and things like that. So there's a lot of really cool stuff we can expand on. I just want to give a quick shout out to Adam Bentley of now Echo Myron. He as you guys know, is a publicist from Toronto, and he's been doing a lot of really cool stuff for a long time. And his new company is finally launched, Echo Myron. They're doing some really cool things. And he just pitched me for the pod for a band from Revelstoke. That's what this is all about, like just kind of helping people out and sharing things. So if you want to check out a cool band that I haven't even heard of yet, Pickle Juice, that's their name. Check out Pickle Juice from Revelstoke. Obviously,
Nice.
super cool. Lance, what's the URL for this pod if people want to join, or if I am doing something sneaky and trying to get someone to join in real time right now? Is it just the same invite link that you shared me?
Yeah,
Okay.
it is.
Things
All
might
right.
get cray.
It'll be fun.
Great.
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
share your screen. Share some heart dealer, baby.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm going to share the tab. I'm going to take a look at what we would do. So, Erin, in your first things first, where would you go first?
The first things that at first is like, well, in a typical campaign setting, usually we would have like exhaustive list of everywhere that our like artist is online, both in terms of socials and DSPs. So for the first thing I would do is like go to the socials and see like what their Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, any other social X that they might have, and sort of like start with the social media first, and then just like have the tabs open, right?
Cool.
And go on their like profile page, and then yeah, okay.
That's interesting. So, like,
like what
you
you're
would go
doing.
to the actual URL. I would probably. I'm not saying what you should do. What I'm saying is what I'm going to compare and contrast here, where I would do a search on an engine. Obviously, I'm not doing this incognito. You should do it incognito, because then you could like, actually. But I'm
For
just doing
SEO
it so that I can
purposes.
see how quickly we can jump into this. Don't worry, Chris. That knowledge panel will come up, but there is an AI overview, which is Heart Dealer is a long-form interview podcast hosted by Christopher Gonda. The show explores the raw human stories behind creatives, artists, and entrepreneurs, focusing on mental health, resilience, and authenticity. It features candid conversations rather than just superficial success stories. You can listen and follow the show across several platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeart, YouTube. Recommend specific episodes to start with? Oh, let's not even play with that just yet, honestly.
Oh my god, I want to play. But you know what's
you
funny
do.
is like people come to us and they're like, I need coverage, I need this. And one of the things we constantly harp on is organic SEO. Why is organic SEO so important? Because of this exact thing.
Precisely because
When
of
you
this.
have transcripts in your articles from the interviews, when you have the interviews, when you have the features, AI is now pulling from these things, it's scraping these things, and your information gets disseminated so much further and wider by having that content.
Plus, whereas before we were finding like, yes, you can definitely like own the narrative. Now you can literally predetermine the narrative to whatever extent you feel like, to the point where it's a little bit scary, to be honest with you. It's a little bit terrifying what I'm seeing people do with SEO, but using tricking large language models, because they're fairly naive still. There's no like sense of like scholarly rigor for these models to be like, wait a minute, this press release is from this person. Maybe I shouldn't take everything that they just said as scripture. It's like one of those like fake it till you make it things. Well, that's never been more true than ever. So that you can like just keep bullshitting. I don't love that. I don't like that. I'm not going to do that. However, what I am using is we are going to absolutely convey the same story that we want for ourselves everywhere we go. So, Chris, most of that wording that came in was precisely from the descriptions that you spent painstaking amounts of time putting in. It was like, oh wow, like the bio it's pulling from the bios and descriptions that you've put seeded in all these different places. So, first of all, so the next step is, okay, we're here. We're finally at an Instagram profile. Erin, what's the first thing that you're noticing?
The first thing I will automatically go to is like that first, before I even look at content, it's just like what is happening in the first like the handle, the profile picture, like. Yeah, and I'm would like for you to comment on this eventually, Lance, about like there's a specific order in which people will like view your Instagram profile when they are on your page.
Yeah.
But yeah, essentially what I would look at is like the profile picture, to get a sense of what it is. The handle, in this case, it's Heart Dealer, which is like stylized as lower cases with a 13 instead of the actual letters. And then the next things that I would look at is the bio and the links that are in the bio. Like, what do we have going on there? And it's a matter of like sort of cross-referencing those to other accounts that you have. So this is the first step that I look at, is like the consistency or like the cohesion that you have. Like if I see that like Chris has this like pink and blue like profile picture going on here, if I were to also go to his Facebook page or his X page or his YouTube, my expectation is I would see that exact same image as his profile picture on those other platforms as well. Much
Which
the
is
same
great.
for. Yeah.
So, Erin, when you do the snapshot for all of our artists, I mean, you're looking at that same time, you're looking for, visual and I guess identity cohesion to make sure that the branding is consistent across platforms, which for most artists, most of the time, it's not. But you're also taking a quote unquote snapshot of that place and time where they are, right? So that when we're working with them over the course of 6 to 12 months or 3 to 12 months, by the end of the campaign, we can show the growth and progress of, hey man, this is how it was, this is how it's now.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the first thing is like the overall like cohesion, as you mentioned, like not just visually, but like, do you have Heart Dealer stylized differently on 3 different platforms, or is it all the same? Is your bio relatively consistent? I know that like there's different character limits for different bios for different platforms, but are they all like basically trying to convey the same message? Are they up to date as well, as another thing that I'll look at. If you're promoting a single that has been released, a year and a half ago, that needs to be updated, that sort of thing. And another thing is also like, for our campaign specifically, I'll also look at the follower count to see how that trajectory moves throughout the campaign. But if we were doing just a one-off audit, that would be perhaps less important. That's usually reserved for, longer period campaigns.
Fair enough. And then,
Yep.
well, no, I wonder, did you want me to talk about like the order in which
Yeah,
people...
absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this isn't this isn't hard and fast, but what people generally tend to do with their eyes is they tend to do a bit of a horseshoe. So this is the order in which people check your profile. It's usually profile pic, handle, headline, followers following, first line of bio, and then the rest of the bio, all in one shot. Usually less than 2 seconds. It might be a slight difference in order. For example, I noticed, Chris, that you don't have any highlights, story highlights here, which would be an excellent place to have calls to action, funnels, and ways to like spotlight certain content, get people to do things in certain ways. But it also helps with branding in particular.
Yeah, that makes sense. Why don't we like use that as a point to dive in before we continue on? Because what we endeavor to do with all things Life Media Group, V13 Media, is to educate, right? Like we want people to come in and learn as much as possible about everything as possible, while also having had like their hand held. That's what you're paying for. You're paying for like our history and knowledge of the industry, and then applying that to a campaign, but also so that when you leave with your rights, you leave with your IP, you leave with everything, and you leave with so much information and education that you're like, you know what, I could probably figure this out on my own now. Not that you want to, having a team is like super clutch, but so that you don't get burned, so that people don't take advantage.
Yep, 100%.
Where do I go? So like, I'm on Instagram, this is my most important platform, you're telling me to do these highlights, like, is this something I can easily whip up in Canva? And what do I want to do with them? Do they have to be squares or circles? What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. So just to give you a sense, first of all, like, what are we even talking about? Because it's hard to talk about something when you don't even know what you're talking about. Let me go to my profile selfishly, because these are what I'm talking about. These circles here, these circles are story highlights. And what it does is it essentially creates a bit of a mini channel, an entryway. Now, don't get me wrong, not everybody's going to click on these ever, but if they're captivating enough, if they're alluring enough, if they create enough curiosity, or if they have what people are looking for, yeah, they will have it. So you have to. There's actually quite a lot. This in and of itself is its own little ecosystem, and you could really get lost in engineering this. So, I think it's always wise to have like a start here thing.
Oh.
My start here is a little involved because, of course, it is because I spent a bit of time doing it. I created a graphic. Hi, I'm Lance.
So, Lance, let me ask you a question before you dive further. I'm new to this. I'm an artist that is intrigued, but what's the point? Like, what value does this type of thing bring to my IG? What's the point of doing it?
That's a really good question because I would basically put it back to you. What is the one piece of type of content type that allows to have a link in it on Instagram?
My profile bio?
Nope. Content type.
Story.
Correct. Story is literally the only place on the entire platform with its 1.3 billion whatever users that you can actually have that. But I went away. I kind of shied away from the whole link thing, and I instead wanted a DM so that I can add you to my close friends. That way, it allows for a curation. You can separate people from like just fans to super fans, and when people are in super fans, you can use close friends to do exclusive stories. None of this has materialized for me. This is me trying to check out things and create them to see how to do it and how hard it is. But the real value add for this is links, curating for people, and also just having ways for people to have a very specific set of information readily available. Hey, I want to have all of the reviews I've done. What kind of reviews has he had? Okay, let's just quickly glance through that. And then I have the links there. I have a link for this one. I have a link for, well, not that one because that's the same one. But you're basically forcing a specific pathway for people to explore things about you or from you. And there's a lot of power to that. Because you're probably wondering, like, well, it's just content, right? It's really not, because this is the one that has the links, but it also has a very curated set of a mix of video, graphics, photos, but also elements, stories, stickers. Like you can have polls, you can have different types of all sorts of different stuff. And it's a lot more, you can go as heavily curated or as off the cuff, whatever, as you like. But it also serves as like another way to add an aesthetic thing. So there's actually a lot of advantages. None of them seem overly compelling, except for the link. The link for me, that's the biggest deal, because that alone is worth its weight in gold. Now, and the thing about a story that goes up with a link, you're probably wondering, well, just put a story up every day. Meta is not stupid, even though they do stupid stuff. The algorithm knows that you've got a link in your story. They don't want you going off their platform. They want your eyeballs. So every time that you put a story up that has a link, that gets suppressed. You're probably wondering, whoa, is that true? Yes, 100% true. Has been for the longest time. So that I will put out there for you. Now, in terms of what to do, how to do it, I actually have access to your Heart Dealer podcast assets in Canva, Chris, but I want to be careful about where I do things. So what I would say is that rather than messing about,
we can instead of like creating the assets in real time and going through like the time suck of generating those, which we can do internally in the near future, which I love. Thank you, by the way.
yeah.
Why don't you help us understand more things. For example, why do you have 6 or so? Why do some people have 3? How many can you have? What is there a sweet spot? Talk to
Yeah.
us a little bit more about the ideology behind having one versus many and what the function is.
It's twofold. So like anytime that you have anything split off, like where you have to do more, is just extra real estate being gobbled up. You notice my bio is it doesn't do that annoying thing where it splits into see more. We go to yours and you're just outside of that character limit where you have to like do that. This is why people
Yeah.
agonize about like the insane like difference between 2 and 3 characters difference of length is because you don't have to do that annoying thing where you have to click on more. It's all just one specific thing. Same thing applies for story highlights. If you put too many of them, you're convoluting things unnecessarily. 6 is kind of the sweet spot for it. I went with 7 because I added one and then just haven't taken care of it. Like I said, we're really good at like doing things, but not necessarily taking care of things ourselves for ourselves. We're most so focused on the client. But when I do
Time,
have time, I do
time,
it
it comes down to
time and
time.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so let me just take a quick step back too. So that bio, super key. You
Mhm.
helped me understand how to make the bio succinct and specific and engaging and catchy, and we've been doing that with our artists a lot more lately. On This is a funny one, on the mobile version of Instagram, that catch-all is not Jesus. The bio is not being cut off. On
Yeah.
the web version, it is. So, is there a character limit discrepancy between the web versus the mobile view?
Yes, and I would always opt towards the mobile. Don't worry about desktop ever. When it comes to social media platforms, I don't. No one cares about desktop. The amount of people that are on social media on desktop, it doesn't matter ever. So just don't worry about it. It's all about mobile. Always optimize for mobile because the all of the studies, every study that comes out about spending patterns and habits of people, the most actions are taken on phone. It's never on desktop. Desktop is like there's some thing about being wherever you are on desktop that there's a much more of a distance for whatever reason. There's whatever I won't point to specific things in the psychology, but people are much more willing to part with a certain amount of money to make sporadic, more impulsive purchases. And I'm not saying that so that we are just like stealing and conniving things out of people. I'm saying it because you're allowing them more connection to you. You're allowing people to say like, I've made this, but now when you do get that thing from me, you're going to be that much more connected to what I'm offering because no matter what, like this all falls apart if you can't deliver something worthwhile. Okay? Just like how if you had a shitty podcast, I would say like, well, it's fine that you're doing all the marketing stuff, but like it doesn't matter. You have a good one. So naturally it follows that you're having like this organic lift. So, just the same way, if you have good music, great, it's going to be that much easier. If you have bad music, well, I don't, all the marketing in the world ain't going to help you, brother. But in the interim, worry only about mobile is what I would say for socials. In particular, the stories really shine on mobile because it's kind of finicky and weird in the desktop experience. You can't even post a story on desktop anyway. So I wouldn't even don't even worry about that. And it looks like garbage on desktop, frankly. It's got that weird
So,
like.
coming
Anyway, go
back
ahead.
to the question, like, how many does one want to have, and how do we like? What's the point?
Okay, so let's say that what I like to ask a client with these is what when you get to my pro when you get to when somebody gets to your profile, what do you want them to do? Start with the end in mind because that is actually going to reverse engineer the entire pathway that you're going to engineer and create for them. Instead of just because what you could do, and this is a trap that lots of creators fall into, is, oh, okay, I'll just have like all the clips that have to do with if I said mindset, that would be most of them. But this is the kind of trap that you can fall into. Is like they think of it as like a tagging system, where it's like, oh, I'll just put all of my like my favorite ones here or the highlights here or something like that, and it's like, no, actually no. For that, just let the content run as it is, because people are more than happy to like just go through. Like if once you click on a reel, it's a totally different pathway. Suddenly now I can just, again, desktop sucks for this, but if I was in mobile and I clicked on one of these, then all of a sudden I'm in the slot machine dopamine release thing where I can just like
Mm-hmm.
scroll, 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 scroll. That's the slot. You go into the slots. Right now, it's like as if you're walking the casino floor and you got all the different games in all the different places. What you want to know is like you want people to cash in and get chips. And the way to do that right off the hop is to get them into the story highlights. Yes, I'm using a casino metaphor right now. I hate it as much as you do, but like I'm playing my own casino here, so leave me alone. Um, so the story highlight, for instance, I want people to watch my podcast. Okay, well, there's one for the podcast. I want people to read my writing. Okay, well, then here's one for the writing. I want people to join my community. There you go. The start here, that's the one that sits outside of all the rest of it. The start here is like, hey, if you learned nothing else about me, if I had only these stories to try and convince you that you should give a shit about me or follow me or care about or know something anything about me, this is the one like Hail Mary pass that I would make to try and get somebody to care. It's like the pitch. About is pretty dumb. I would actually get rid of this one. I'm also going to get rid of motivation because nobody gives a shit. Like motivation is not for there's nothing. I know that that could be useful. That is not what my content is supposed to be for.
So this is great. I love that you're doing the self curation in real time because it's another thing that we harp on is less slow, more go.
Yeah.
Don't let perfect be the enemy of great, and constantly reiterate. If you want to bring something back, you can. I would challenge you to do that now and show us how it's done. So if you want to remove one of those, like let's say about, how would you do that? Do you have to go to the mobile experience to delete that?
Yeah, I'm
Talk
almost
to.
certain that you do. Yeah, so you have to edit this. Yeah, so all you can do is go. I don't think that you can actually like do it on here. Yeah, no, you can't. And by the way, creating a story highlight is super straightforward. By the way, you can actually just pick from the ones that you've already done. People don't realize like how easy this is because these are all of the stories that I've done. But but how is it possible that the stories are, because these are my stories. It's an archive. Every story that you've ever made is still accessible.
Mm.
It just isn't visible to everyone else. This is a way to make that, to pin it basically. You can't edit and get rid of the story highlight here. You have to click and hold on it in your profile on the app, which I can do in real time. I'm happy to do that real quick. Is hold on it, then you can either edit highlight, archive highlight, or delete highlight. I would say archive the highlight. I like to archive things on here because deleting is very destructive and also has kind of the wrong, historically it's had the wrong signals for algorithms. If they see you deleting posts, really doesn't love that. If you archive the post, first of all, it's non-destructive, so you do have access to that post forevermore. But also, like, it's a softer delete. It's still available to the algorithm and it still understands the relationship while still curating it nicely. Now I've gone ahead and deleted the archive that motivation highlight. We'll see if it. Yep, gone already. Perfect. So, and the less, the better. But you do want to have options. Unfortunately, I was being pulled in so many different directions that I felt like kind of want to have my cake and eat it too with all these different things that I'm doing. But now I'm starting to get a little bit more strategic. I'm like I don't need about at all really. Um, or at least you have to ask yourself, start with the end in mind. So you want people to listen to your music? Okay. Well, what you do is you have one story highlight and you decide what is the most likely type of story that is going to make people go to your profile on whatever platform and listen to your music. And then you work backwards from there, right?
Mm.
And if you don't have the content for that yet, guess what? Congrats, you just created an entire pillar of content that you can create from now on that you can now make. Because once you've figured out exactly what it needs to achieve, specifically, not just like, oh, I want it to, raise things in general. No. Specifically, what do you want people to click on? Oh, well, I want them to go and listen to my music. That's not good enough. What do you want them to click on? What do you want them to do? Oh, I want them to go to my pre-save link that has all the different options for them to stream on. Perfect. Love that. There's loads of options in terms of integrations and connections with those pre-save links, as we know. Hyper follow, like of all the different pre-save link ones. There's a lot of cool stuff that you can do to make sure that when somebody clicks on that link, there's another browser that kind of shows up in the inside of Instagram, because they're so adamant that you are not going to leave their platform. They've literally created a new browser that stays inside of the app so that you can go to that site. They're so desperate to keep you on platform, and it's crucial because there's trillions of dollars at stake here, guys.
Yeah.
So anyway,
tough gig.
yeah, exactly. So there's lots and lots.
This is already helping me so much. So what I've been doing in the meantime for people that are watching, listening, is I've opened up Canva. I simply went into one of my existing Heart Dealer assets where I already have my background and some of my branding available. If you haven't done that, that's okay. It's very easy to start from scratch. And then I just resized one of those images to be an Instagram story size or Instagram story ad size. And now I've started to just take ideas based on what you were saying and put them in the middle as a word, as a placeholder, so that I've captured that idea. So for example, I have the podcast, I've got guest to guest, I've got value sessions, and I have mindset coaching, right? So these are the things that for me are the most important right now. I could see how, newsletter and things like that might apply down the road, but those are the big ones that I'm like, what do I want to be pushing, selling, have people check out?
Correct.
Boom.
That's the thing, is that's what story highlights are supposed to do. And I love that you picked up on the coaching aspect, because it's like, what is the one thing that a person could do that would meaningfully support me for the longest amount of time? What is the lifetime value that I can drive through the roof for in the as little effort for a person as possible? And again, this is all like sounding very like conniving and greedy. It's truly not. This is just making sure that we understand, like, people want to support you. People want to support people. You're making it harder for them because they don't know what you want. I read this and I'm like, do you want me to sign up for the newsletter, or do you want me to go to the podcast? What is it? Which one? You're diluting your ask. So what you are going to do is you're going to ask yourself, does it matter more or most for people to, you got to pick one. What's the number one call to action? Is it to follow, subscribe, listen? Is it to book a call with you? Like, because you don't want to get too. You've got great ones there. Great, they're perfect.
You're absolutely right, and this is not dissimilar to what we've talked about with artists, and I've talked about in the pod with people from the community, that streaming's great, but is streaming the call to action? No, it's bums and seats and money in pocket. How do you get money in pocket? You sell your physical, you sell your digital album on Bandcamp. Cool. Everything else, podcast included, is marketing for. For me, the sale, the thing is the coaching, is the incredible, arc that I've been through, and how I'm still here after the ridiculous ride, and that mindset that I needed to get through that, the help and the coaching and the people that I needed to get through that, and then inspiring others to know that they can do that if they want to.
Right.
So yeah, beautiful. Coaching 100% is the ask.
Yeah. And so what you do is you say, then, and what that does is that immediately starts to get you, it frames it automatically. It seems like such a simple little reframe, but it dictates everything. Just like how when you're leaving from LAX, if you change like 1 degree at the point of where you've left, you could either end up in New York or Florida. The whole of Florida, excuse me, Miami, whatever. I don't give a shit. So you have to make that decision early, because the earlier you make it, the much more of an impact meaningfully it'll make for you.
Yeah.
So, I would say go for, now that you know that, like coaching, in your instance, coaching is the number one thing, the number one ask. That's the number one call to action. I think that's a great one. So what I would say is that think of ways, content, etc., that would focus primarily on that and how to frame it. And now, like, the thing is that that becomes like very big in terms of potential creative things, but you already have a very specific thing it needs to do. So at the end of it,
100%. Well, I think that, sorry to cut you off.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think that what we should do is kind of wrap on this, not because I don't think that this is important for me, but I think for people watching and listening, we should get back to the initial path that got us here, which was the snapshot and the ecosystem as a whole. So rather than diving further into this trap of stories, let's pull back. You and I
yeah,
can definitely approach my stories and then create those and then launch those and leverage them maybe as in a future AMA.
nice.
But Erin, what else is critical to your role as a publicist and marketing person within this social snapshot? What else are you looking for before we talk
Yeah.
more about what we do?
Yeah, it's initially it's just uh, putting yourself in the shoes of somebody who is this is their first introduction to you as an artist, as a brand, and essentially like looking at it through that lens in the sense of like, do I immediately see visual cohesion? Do I understand from your bio what similar to what Lance was saying, like what the ask is, like what is it that you're focusing your attention or want to focus an audience attention towards, and do I understand what you're about, relatively easily as well. Like I see that, with using Chris as an example here, it's a very video heavy content that's all been branded, with the appropriate colors, so there's visual cohesion there. But I'm able to, from a glance, just sort of like gleam, what it is that you do and are, just by looking at some of the like text hooks and things of that nature. Like it's, and then if there's anything that is like across, and another thing is like the cohesion across platforms, where it's just like if you have one platform where it's like a lot of shorts and video content like this, and the other is like a lot of your either like skits or your own personal life or something that just does not match the vibe of your Instagram, that might be, something that I would flag as to, something that you need to make sure that you are consistent. If I were being introduced to you for the first time on Instagram, is that going to be the same experience as if I am seeing you for the first time on, TikTok or X, right? There's a lot of value in that, right? But
Yeah, I'll just add to that. Ultimately for us, this is something that we've repeated many times before, and we'll keep repeating it. Long gone are the days of leveraging a platform to pull people to another platform. Outside of like a marketing perspective, you can't just run a website and say, I'm gonna have my posts on X and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, and then flood that content back to my website. It doesn't work that way. You have to think of each and every ecosystem as its own closed system, and then make sure that the user group, the community within that system, is getting the same experience there that they are elsewhere. So instead of talking to people on TikTok like you are on your website, talk to them the way that they need to be talked to on TikTok, but present the content there in the same format, the same brand and marketing experience as you would on the website. Format's the wrong word because obviously the format's different. And that's why it's so critical to have these social media deep dives, to make sure that when people are experiencing Heart Dealer, the brand on Instagram, that is not dissimilar to the podcast on Spotify or X or wherever else I am, because you want to target them.
exactly.
another one is like in terms of zooming out, like it is about looking at where things go as well. So it's revealing that it's either your website or your website. Like v13.net is the obvious like go-to here. Um, however, oddly, um, no, I would say mindset coach and CEO at V13 Media. That makes sense. Having v13.net makes complete sense to me. I would say that having gone to your link tree, you then have, I'll share this tab instead for a sec. Going to your link tree, I see that you have the fancy one, which is huge because then you can have like all sorts of snazzy things. I see that you have all of your asks in one specific place. You haven't like gone too crazy with the level of stuff that's available to check out here. Obviously, a link tree is going to be a little bit more. There's going to be a bit more to it in terms of breadth, but then you go like, okay, well, look at the URL. Okay, it's Heart Dealer, spelled and stylized the same way. Heart D and then 13R. Okay, same thing with the URL. It's stuff like that that people think people won't notice. We 100% will, and it will trip us up every time we try to discover you. We go to TikTok. It's the same. It's the same. So you have TikTok's slightly different because that's the handle, but then here's the name. So the name, as we know, is what shows up, and then the handle is slightly different. The handle is what matters in terms of searching, and you have it, so that's perfect. And then you move to X, and you have your exact same thing across all of it. Same profile picture, same everything.
Are you sharing?
You stopped sharing there for a second.
Did I? Oh, weird.
Yep,
Okay.
you did.
That's weird. Sharing this tab. Okay, stop sharing, cancel, wait. And then we share the website.
Oh, you'd have to
And
go
it's
back
again-
to TikTok.
Oh,
I see the website now. It's all good.
I see the website. So with that, like, it's clear to people that it's stylized as Heart Dealer with a 1-3, but is in terms of like on the URL of the site, it's heartdealer.com with the LE. And that's it's a risk because it's slightly different, but it's a calculated risk. I think it does. You're still going to have the catch-all of heartdealer.com does a lot of work in terms of SEO, and then Heart Dealer with the 1-3 stylization for the handles makes a lot more sense because you're going to use a more stylized way of doing things when it comes to handles. Don't get too off base. Don't get too clever with it. I have people that I see creatives do this where it's like, I'm going to come up with this sweet, sick reference or this clever play on words, and it's like it has nothing to do with your brand. Well, it is a reference to this one song that I write, not from the outside looking in. Sorry, I love you. I want the best for you. Can you just make it a little bit simpler for us, please? Thanks. And if you don't want to, fine. But just understand that like you've fundamentally made things harder for yourself. I don't want to hear it when you are. I'm sorry. I know this might be harsh, but like I truly do not want to hear it when you're like, man, numbers are down. It's really hard to. Well, you made it harder for yourself. So please, sweetheart, you didn't want to have it any easier. So stop. I'm sorry, but like, it's already hard enough. Why are you making it harder for yourself? Make it easier for us, please. Anyway, sorry. I do get annoyed and
invite, not to alienate, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a really good sort of once over of like how the social snapshot goes. It's as simple but as important as URLs, handles, types of content available, whether an account is dormant. I noticed, Chris, that there's posts that aren't making its way to Twitter, but that's because it's claimed. And actually walk me through that. Like, is it something that is purposely done, or is it because it's because that connection is borked. Question.
So sorry, which on
Twitter.
X? What are you talking about?
I saw that you don't have any posts on Twitter from the Heart Dealer podcast
Oh, interesting.
profile. Now that might be because I don't have Twitter. Maybe it's
Let me check.
interesting.
I mean, we are posting. I see one from 2 hours ago. I do see July 7th. I see July 6th. Maybe it's because you're not active.
Yeah, that could be it.
We're using Metricool to schedule and post. So everything that is shared, thanks to our social media guru Jacqueline, everything that is shared is done across the platforms that we choose. So I've strategically chosen Instagram, TikTok, X, LinkedIn, and YouTube as my main dissemination platforms. I don't need a presence on Facebook. I don't see the relevance right now. So when we post something new, it's across all of those at the same time.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so then if I think then what I'm seeing then is that yeah, there are posts. So I think it was just because I wasn't signed in. So that's something to be aware of, is that you have to be signed in order to actually see the posts. Because now that I've gone in and signed in as our V13 Media one. Now all of a sudden everything's populating.
Right.
So yeah, forget me. Good learning though. Good learning. And I think that when it comes to socials in general, it's better to have one that's active than dormant, always, every time. Having something that isn't doing anything is doing you no favors. This is why I always tell people, like, focus on one or two things. Don't try to do it all. You can you can cross post, and that's fine, but understand that you're not going to grow on the platform that you're not engaging with.
So why don't we summarize and sorry, Erin, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna ask a follow-up question to that, because I know that there are some people that are we want to have something on this particular platform, not because we want to use that platform, but because we just don't want anyone else to have that particular handle. Do you have any thoughts regarding that, or it's just kind of having a dormant account for the sake of keeping your own handle clean, or or from falling into the hands of somebody else potentially, or?
Yeah. I think that that's a very, very, very legit thing to be aware of. What I would do in that instance is if it's worthwhile exploring, I'm always a fan of checking out things that are emerging anyway and checking it out, seeing if it's for you. If it's not for you, then it's not for you. I have a Blue Sky, for instance. I tried it out and I realized oh yeah, this is the same thing I hated about Twitter. I don't give a shit about it. So then I just stopped. But then what I could do to clean it up, because it is dormant, is now that I've claimed a specific handle and I've realized that, I would say use it as a put a redirect sign on it. Be very clear and intentional about that, and just say leave one thing in place that says, this is not a place where I hang out. This is not the place where we do stuff. Go to this. Go there. You have to have the redirect on. You cannot just have this nothing thing that has no, that it has, you're just wondering what. It would be like having a a person in a gorilla costume wander in through the middle of a very emotional scene, and you're just kind of what is happening there? What are you trying to do here?
Unless that's your jam, man. I like the random.
yeah. And if that's what you're going for, you don't listen to anything we say. Seriously, there is room for people to just ignore all of this, but understand it first so that you know what to ignore, because then you can do the reverse of things intentionally, not just I'm just doing it because I don't have capacity. People can tell. People can always tell. I hate when people are oh well, maybe it'll just read as random, and it's nope, it's going to read as lazy and uninspired. If you're doing things weirdly, it'll read as that. Trust me.
Let's summarize and wrap up, just because succinct is sometimes the name of the game. So if you don't mind sharing your screen, I wanted to share two things. One is I sent a link in the public chat here, which you can click on and open up, because while you were talking, I took a stab at creating my first little image for the Reels. We can obviously finesse this, and I'm open to all criticisms known to man, because Lance, you are an excellent criticizer, and I mean that lovingly, not disparagingly. So long story short, when it comes to what we do at V13 Music and V13 Media Group, is it's foundations. We're trying to help build foundations. We're trying to help give artists and creatives a leg up in the story of their success, trying to educate them and leave them with something that they can then take away as much as possible. Lance, that is not Lance, that is not the link that I sent you.
Oh, yeah, you did not. Oh, in our private
Riverside, brah.
Oh
my God.
Sauce.
It's like, so long story short, you got to build a foundation. You got to start somewhere, and that comes with social media as well. Analyze your social media, analyze your online presence, and ask yourself, am I seeing the same thing everywhere? Am I seeing the same profile photo, the same headers, the same title, the same handle, the at, whatever comes after the at, that's your handle. Am I seeing the same bio, links, and calls to action? If you are not, then you're missing the boat, and you got to work on that. You're clearly looking for a specific slide. I thought it linked to the slide. That is slide number 26.
Oh. Cool. Nice.
Is this how these are built?
Almost, because you got to remember what the shape of it is going to be contained in. So what
100%
I would say
a circle for sure.
Yep, 100%. But essentially, you've done it. Like that's precisely what it is. Is like, and I've also got like, what's cool about this is that you've got like this Venus arterial head heart love logic kind of approach. This like duality, which we love so much.
Well, that's just a placeholder for now. Sorry to interrupt, but ultimately, like when someone clicks on that initial circle, which is very much like an icon and should be clean and minimal, it takes them to a first image. Is that first image the same as that circle image? Like, is that what people see, or does it automatically lead to another one?
So it depends on what you want them to see. So like, you can customize the like cover photo for that story highlight, and you can choose whatever photo you want.
Amazing.
Or you can use the first photo. You can like use an automatically assign it based off of what the content is of that first one. But I'd say it's way cleaner and more and way better to like use a custom icon, like we pointed out, and then it goes to stories that you've highlighted in chronological order. This is very important that people need to understand. Like, you have to post it in the order you want it to appear. You cannot. Now, don't get me wrong. If you want to like shuffle things a bit, that's okay. But what you have to do is then post it according to that order that you want. This is why it's like both quite freeform, but also rewards intentionality.
I appreciate the help. We'll definitely dive into that more because I want to get them fixed up, cleaned up, and then online. So long story short, look at your socials, look at your platform, and ask the questions we said before, which is, does everything line up? Do you have the same brand, the same messaging, the same profile pic, the same links, calls to actions, bio, etc. across all of the platforms? If you don't, start fixing, because people pay attention to that stuff, especially at the higher levels of this game. Going forward, I'm super pumped to continue this format, but bring in a guest, so that what we're doing is having continued conversations where we can provide value to people as we have so far, but then also have this more fun, like podcast style vibe where we're interviewing artists and talking about their project at the same time, and applying some of our V13 Media Group sauce on that beautiful meal. So shout outs today to artists that I've been talking to recently on the podcast that I'm also hoping that'll join us in the near future here. So Grand Agent, Hooked Like Helen, Umran Syed, Soraya, the band. Zuzu Mansour is the lead singer. Echo Myron, the company based out of Toronto, and Adam Bentley. And then the pitch that we got at the same time with Pickle Juice out of Revelstoke, BC, I believe. We're going to have these artists in and around our platforms. Then they can share their stories with you, but then also apply this same knowledge that we're sharing with their creations, with their content. Erin, you've got some fun developments. Where can people follow you now?
Yes, I am currently. I'm on Instagram. The handle is at erinb.pr. So you can follow me there. Yep. And looking forward to come over, say hi.
Nice.
Amazing.
I love it. Low Key Hellish, Heart Dealer, Erin BPR. Another awesome session. Appreciate you guys.
Love it. Likewise.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. And we're going to be right back at it next week.
Yep.
Hell yeah. Fail fast.
Fail hard.
Hey.
Maybe not in that order. Fail hard, fail fast. But just do it. Okay, just do it. Anyway.
Do the hard thing.
Nice.